Building a website for a client is not easy, and that is why I'm making this video to show you my step-by-step process for designing and building a website, from discovery all the way to launching it using Figma and Wix Studio. Hey, I'm Aliana. I'm a designer and I teach design at Fast Track UX. We have to start with the discovery phase, and if you feel like you want to fast forward a little bit to the more technical part, don't. You'll regret that for the rest of your career. In the discovery stage, I usually set up a few meetings with my client to understand these following things. What is the product and what problem does it solve? Who's the target buyer and user of the product? What is the sales funnel for this product? And when does this website come into the picture? What is the goal of this website? Is it to generate lead or is it to generate sales? Leads mean that you are trying to get users' phone number and email first so that your sales team will contact them later to generate sales. It sounds easy, but it's really not. And if you don't capture the full picture here, your design process is gonna be a disaster. Also, most clients look like this. Aliana, I would love to start a design agency with you. I thought we were working on the NFT app right now. Yeah, but VCs are only looking for AI startups at these days, so why not we build a design agency that designs for AI startups? I actually don't have a lot of experience working with. Don't worry, just make me a website right now and I will take it from there. Let us design a simple landing page. Make it look seamless, like Apple. You know what? Call it Aliana Design. You have a cool name. So how long do you think you can do that? 2 days? I'm not kidding. Many clients may come to you and ask you to build a website before their product is fully produced. Sometimes even when the product is just an idea. In this case, ask them to niche down. Do not agree to design for a website for a product that the owner doesn't even know how to explain. You can be the world's best web designer, but if the product sucks, a good website will not help it to sell. On the contrary, there's another type of client. Aliana, remember that design agency we talked about? Yes. I've decided to pivot from AI startups to B2B tech companies, because we have more connections and background in that. Here's the website copy I wrote, and I also just sent you 100 images and videos related to this website. Feel free to use whatever you want, do whatever with it. I have 1 hour per week to attend meeting on this. I hope you can get the website launched in 2 months. I'll pay you $10K upfront, and if this agency takes off, you'll get half the payment of all our clients' work. What do you think? This type of client is close to non-existent. And she also demonstrates a few other things you need to know. How frequently can your client communicate with you? And through what method? If they're slow or busy, you'll need to extend your timeline. How much does your client want to be involved? And what's their budget? Setting a price for a service is such an art, and the common trap here is falling into this desperate mode and starting to compete on price. As soon as you tell your client, I can lower my price, from the client's perspective, they will think that it's because your service is not good enough that you are lowering your price. Ideally, you want to be oversubscribed. It takes practice, but it is achievable. Read this book. In the discovery stage, you also need to decide a timeline. Believe it or not, whether you're working for a super early stage startup or the top big tech company in the world, the deadline is always ASAP. To set up a suitable timeline, consider whether engineering is required. Consider your skills, your schedule, and how quickly can your client respond to you. I usually give myself a big enough buffer at the end because anything can go wrong. My previous web design project took 2 months, including user research, testing, and engineering. But I've heard web designers who can get a web page done anywhere between 1 week all the way to 9 months. It really depends. Next comes the wireframing stage. A wireframe is an outline of your design. You want to make high-level decisions like the layout, the call to action, and the flow of your message. Do not skip this step. Our brains are really not good at switching back and forth between lower level and higher level decisions. So don't challenge yourself to decide on a shade of red while also thinking, what is the structure of this website? It's like trying to paint this wall while you are still stacking the brick of this building together. The standard web design software today is Figma. In Figma, click here or press F to create a frame. For B2C products, I prefer designing for mobile first. For B2B products, I design for desktop first. Since this example is a B2B service, I will be designing for desktop first. I like to create 5 different frames as if I'm sketching out a slideshow. I intentionally set these constraints to push myself to explain the product quickly and clearly. In the digital world, it is very easy to add things, but extremely difficult to remove them. In Figma, you only need 2 tools to create a wireframe: text to write content and rectangles to represent shapes. To create text, click here or press T. You can adjust your element on the right, such as making it bigger for a headline or smaller for a subheadline. To create a rectangle, click here or press R on your keyboard. You can use it to represent buttons, images, or shapes. There's no need to make anything pretty at this stage. Just visualize your idea quickly. You can even use pen and paper. This is an example of my first wireframe. Of course, you cannot present this to your client. Let us touch up the wireframe. I like to use Wix Studio's wireframe kit. You can find it in the Figma community or via the link in the description. This file provides many templates that you can use for your web wireframe. This is how my wireframe looks after using the kit. Let me talk you through the key here. Let us start with the hero section, which is the top section of your website. This is the most important part of your design. Your goal is to create a hero section that is clear and strong enough so that within 5 seconds, your target audience can understand what you sell, trust that you are legitimate, know what to do next. This is also known as the 5-second test. To achieve this, you typically need a strong headline and a subheadline to explain your product, a call to action button, strong and relevant visual design elements. I don't use lorem ipsum at this stage. I always write text that's straightforward and understandable. Then add a little bit of artistic style to the copy in later iterations. I see a lot of small startups trying to mimic Apple or Nike. They usually fail miserably. Why? Because it takes very different strategies to take a company from 0 to 1 versus 1 million to 10 million. So if your client is a startup, don't write a headline like, just do it. It will not get them anywhere. Be as clear as possible about what you do. In other sections of your design, you need to further explain your product and build trust. Write in a way that both your audience and search engines will understand. Explain your product in different sections and write about it in paragraph form. Images and videos are nice to have, but they are slower to load and don't contribute to SEO as much as text does. Once you have your wireframe ready, take it to your client and ask for feedback. It is much easier to adjust the layout now than later. I like the overall idea, but the top part needs to be stronger, so this section is specific. I don't like how negative it is. How about we make the problem on the left, solution to the right? I'll give you the copy. Actually, I like that. Let me do that. To document design iterations, I like to set up my pages this way. The newest iteration on top and older versions at the bottom. On each page, I make a clear iteration note and explain why certain design changes were made. This not only makes it easy for your client to track your design progress, but also make it easier for you to write up case studies later. Once your client approves your wireframe, let us jump into high fidelity design. At this stage, you'll need to be pixel perfect. If your client has a branding kit, use their color, font, and images. If not, well, good luck. Or maybe just use Inter. Here's the interesting thing. In design, form and function aren't as correlated as most people would think. The prettiest websites don't usually perform the best. Some boring websites may perform really well. And most business owners care way more about business performance than aesthetics. So I suggest you to design the website first to the extent that's just clean and clear. Then add a little bit of creativity and make it pop, not the other way around. I like to start by gathering inspiration from other great websites and putting it on an inspiration page. I use these inspirations for my own design. I begin with the primary screen size and the most visible section to explore different styles and feels. For this project, I explored dawn and night. Then, I communicate these options to the client. Let them choose and iterate from there. Once they approve a specific style, I proceed with the other sections and screen sizes. From this point on, I'll explain slightly advanced concepts that require a deeper understanding of Figma. I have a whole Figma tutorial playlist if you are a beginner. I like to design for 3 breakpoints: desktop, tablet, and mobile. The width of the frame and the grid setup I use are shown here. I like to polish everything on the main breakpoint first, then move to the other 2. I prefer using an 8-point grid system, meaning that the gaps between elements are usually multiples of 8. And when designing in Hi-Fi, always keep a prototype open and set it to true width. The Figma canvas makes everything appear smaller, so looking at a real-time prototype can help keep your scale accurate. As a rule of thumb, if your paragraph text is greater than 18 pixels, everything on your page is probably way too large. Make them smaller. Because we will export everything from Figma to Wix Studio later, it is good to set up most things as auto layouts. If you know how to set up multiple layers of auto layout in Figma, you won't have too hard of a time setting up stacks in Wix Studio in the next step. By the end, each of your bigger sections should be within a frame, and the entire page should be an auto layout of different frames. This can take a long time to get to a design that you like. If your frustration level gets to an 8 out of 10, it is a good idea to do something else first and come back with a fresh point of view. Next, let's design for the other 2 breakpoints. When you export your design from Figma to a web building tool, the desktop breakpoint will be the main one. You'll need to adjust the tablet and mobile breakpoints manually in the web building tool. So when designing, if you can keep the content the same, but use slightly different layouts for tablet and mobile, it will make your life easier. So here's an example. Instead of stacking these 2 sections horizontally, the smaller breakpoint just stack them vertically. And for the text, you don't have to make significant changes for the font sizes. Go ahead and try it yourself. Next, I will show you how to build a website you designed using Wix Studio and launch the site on your client's custom domain. You might have heard of Wix before, but Wix Studio is new and it's different. Wix Studio is a web creation platform specifically built for designers and agency owners. It has a great Figma to Wix Studio plugin, it has AI-driven responsiveness feature, and it offers a revenue sharing model for designers. This means that as a designer, you don't have to pay. Your client will pay for the Wix Studio subscription, and you also earn a commission from your client's payment. Let us take a look. The link to Wix Studio is in the description. First, let's create a new site by clicking the button at top right. Select Studio Blank Canvas. Next, we will export our desktop design from Figma to Wix Studio. Click the top left menu in Wix Studio, go to Tools, then select Import from Figma. Copy your Figma file link here. Then, go to Figma, click here, and search for the Figma to Wix Studio plugin. Select the desktop frame. First, let's export the styles. If you go back to Wix Studio and click Refresh Import, you'll see the styles you used in your design. And by the way, you don't have to set up styles in Figma. Wix Studio is smart enough to extract all your colors and fonts whether or not they are set up as styles in Figma. Next, let's import the page. Go to Figma again and go back one step and select Export Frame. Then return to Wix Studio, use Import from Figma again, refresh the import and add it to the site. And ta-da! Now you have all your designs imported, and Wix Studio will set everything to scale proportionally. This is a great starting point. From here on, the tutorial will get a little bit more advanced, so it will require some patience to get the site exactly the way you want it. Since this is imported as a new page in your site, we need to delete the old page and set this one as the home page. Click the Pages icon on the left, set your imported page as the home page, then delete the old page. Now we're going to work on polishing this site and make it responsive. To preview your page at any time, either use the eye icon on the top right or simply publish it to a custom site and view the published site. Right now, you can see that the design is too large on the large screen size and too small on the small screen size. Let's go back to Wix Studio and start with the desktop breakpoint. Let's delete the default top navigation. I will also delete the Wix Studio default footer at the bottom. For this background image, the transparency is not correct, so I will go ahead and fix that. Let us click this icon to see all our layers. We will be using this layers view a lot. Here, my background image is within a container, which is within another container, and which is within this section. To set it up better, I will delete the image, select the hero section, and add a few media instead. Now the page looks more correct. To stick my custom navigation to the top, I will add a section and bring it in. And I will set up this new section background to 0% transparency. Then change the position type to paint right here. This should work already. And for best practice, I will also right-click and set it as a global header. This is how my page looks now. Now, let's fix the page for bigger screen sizes. This is actually not that hard. All we need to do is apply max width to each section of the page. So click each section and toggle on max width from the right. If you want to reset your max width, just click the info icon. Once you've done that, your page should behave like this. Next is where it gets complex. We'll turn our design from this to this. This step will vary a lot based on your specific scenario and could take a whole day. However, here are a few good rules of thumb. First, change most of the text responsive behavior from scale proportionally to wrap. The default scale proportionally may make your text super small on small screen sizes. This depends on your design though. There might be designs where the default scale proportionally works great. When you adjust the text to wrap, it will keep the same font size but automatically break into multiple lines when your window size reduces. Second, get rid of unnecessary containers and set up multiple layers of stacks. A container in Wix Studio is like a group in Figma. It is not smart and will perform poorly in responsive design. A stack is like auto layout in Figma, and it will be your new best friend. However, depending on the complexity of your design, Wix Studio may automatically set up containers instead of stacks. In this case, you will need to select the container, right-click, and choose Remove Container. Then, multi-select the elements you want to stack and click Stack. After you stack these elements, you should still be able to easily adjust the gap between them, their width, height, and position. For example, here's how this section's layer setup looked before my adjustment, and here's how it looks after my adjustment. It took me some trials to get this part right. I even went on a run, a physical one at a gym, to get some mental clarity. When you are setting the gap between elements, and also when you are setting padding, margins, width, or height, be aware of this little star symbol. There are multiple ways you can set these numbers, such as pixels and pixel star. If your pixel has a star next to it, it means that this is set to be scaled proportionally. Sometimes you want this, sometimes you don't. Another helpful tip is that you can add maximum or minimum width or height through here, which may come in handy at times. Once you finish setting up your desktop breakpoint, check it by stretching the width here and see if everything looks good. Then preview the site to make sure everything is good on your desktop breakpoint. Next, let's move to the tablet breakpoint. To be completely honest, your tablet breakpoint may look like a hot mess right now, so it is time to adjust everything again. Once you adjust your tablet breakpoint, it shouldn't influence any larger screen sizes as long as you don't delete elements or set up or delete stacks. I need to say it again. Do not delete elements on the tablet breakpoint. You can hide them if you want to, but you cannot delete them. Also, do not set up extra stacks or remove an existing stack. If you want to do that, go back to the desktop breakpoint so that everything won't break. Usually, the tablet breakpoint is just a smaller version of the desktop breakpoint. But for the mobile breakpoint, many elements that were stacked horizontally will have to be adjusted to stack vertically, like this one. Sometimes, you may also need to reduce your heading font sizes on smaller breakpoints. Once you are done adjusting all breakpoints, which probably will take a while, you can publish the site again and double check. For mobile breakpoint, I strongly recommend checking it on your mobile phone, and you should be so proud of yourself. Alright, we're not done yet, but we're almost there. We also need to set up links and animations. And good news, this part is not that hard. To set up a link, just select the element, then click this link icon. Then you can easily set up the link here. And for animations, select the element, go to the animation tab at the top right, and Wix Studio have some great entrance effects. Try them out. Finally, let me show you how to publish this design to your custom domain. Click the purple Connect Domain link at the top and select your option. To send your client a payment request, choose the plan you need and then click Create a Payment Request to send it to your client's email. Once you have upgraded to a different plan, you'll be able to find a new domain or connect to an existing one. Right now, Wix Studio will cover the first year of our domain fee, and we will need to pay for the remaining years and the private registration fee. Once that's done, your website will be live on your custom domain soon. It is just so satisfying to see my design on a published site. Now it is your turn. Have fun. I've included a lot of material in this video. Usually, you cannot learn web design in this short amount of time. It takes a lot of practice, and please be patient. To help you remember and find key information, I summarized everything in a PDF guide with some additional resources. Link in the description. It is free, and by downloading the guide, you will also gain access to my email list, Tridian's Cafe, where I share exclusive learning and resources around design and beyond design, also for free. I want to thank Wix Studio for sponsoring today's video and make this video possible. Get started with Wix Studio from link in the description. I'm Aliana. If you like this video, you should turn on all notifications to my channel, and you may also like this video. And I will end this video with this amazing view of Niagara Falls that I recently visited.